Hey guys, what's going on? This is Dan Solitro with another edition of Solitro Reviews Albums here on To All the Crowded Rooms, and today we are going to be talking about the album Slow Decay by The Acacia Strain. To throw this out there, I didn't really get into this band until last year when I saw them open for Knock Loose, and then when they surprise released their EP, It Comes in Waves. I was really impressed by both their performance and their last EP itself. Also, when this band was making waves about 10 to 12 years ago with the releases of Continent and Wormwood and Death is the Only Mortal, I unfortunately missed out on them, mostly because I was getting more into bands like Every Time I Die and the Dillinger Escape Plan. But I can't go back in time and tell 17-year-old me to check these guys out. With that being said, let's get right into it. For those who may not know, the Acacia Strain are a 5-piece metalcore band from Chicopee, Massachusetts, and have been a big name in the scene for almost 20 years now. With 2 decades of being a band and now 10 albums under their belt, this band is clearly not stopping for anybody. What was really interesting about the way they handled the release of this album is that they decided to release 5 2-track EPs that spelt out the word Decay. So when you really think about it, these guys have already released 10 out of the 12 tracks that would have been released on the EP, and I think that's really cool of them to do that. I also wanted to point out that the 5 records, when put together, actually showed a landscape decaying into darkness, and I thought that was actually a really cool idea for them, and a really great idea actually from an artistic perspective. At its core, the Acacia Strain is a metalcore band, but there's much more to them than just metalcore, and you can hear these influences not only on this record, but you're able to hear them throughout the band's earlier releases as well. A lot of individuals over the years labeled them a deathcore band, but Vincent Bennett, the band's vocalist, and Kevin Buteau, the band's drummer, have actually rejected that label, and Vincent has actually voiced his dislike for his band being labeled as a deathcore band. However, with this release, you hear a good variety of influence on display, ranging from your hardcore sensibilities, slower and more down-tuned instrumentals that made me think of sludge and doom metal. There's a lot more to this band than really what meets the eye or the ears. I hear a little bit of Hatebreed influence on this album, especially when it comes to the more fast-paced parts. Reminds me of that era of hardcore. I hear some Deftones influence as well, with some of its ambient parts and really dreary and melancholy melodies. And I would actually go as far as to say I even hear some Sepultura influence. Some of the instrumentals made me think of the early era of that band, and I actually thought that was a really cool touch. When it comes to lyrical content, the Acacia Strain was never a band that painted the world as a bright and colorful place, and this record's really no exception. With the world being in this pandemic, it's understandable that a lot of people think this world is completely and utterly fucked. What I mean by that is, if It Comes in Waves touched upon the human race, Slow Decay seems to be tackling humanity being unable to handle its own problems and humans' descent or decay into hell. TAS has always been a band with some extremely bleak lyrics. For example, the song Seeing God, the subject matter involves how things are just completely going to shit, and how it's really our fault for ignoring the things that we shouldn't have been ignoring in the first place. Personally, I feel like this says a lot about what's been going on in this year alone, and the Acacia Strain and Aaron Heard from Jesus Piece, he's featured on this song too, shout out to them, are basically saying, you fucked up, deal with the consequences. As for production, unfortunately, I could not find the individual who recorded this album, which is unfortunate for me because this individual did an exceptional job conveying what this band is. Every part sounds how it should sound. The fast-paced parts of everything make you want to move. The slow and ambient parts are dark and dreary, and everything sounds so big and menacing, and I respect them for that so much. When it comes to the Acacia Strain, when you listen to their music, just know that when you let them in your head, you are allowing them to take you to a dark place, and that's what Slow Decay brings you to, a dark place. And that is it for The Acacia Strain. If you're interested in listening to this album, it is available on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever else you stream music. Check out their merchandise on Merch Connection Inc. They have a bunch of items that you're able to pick up. And let me know your thoughts on Slow Decay in the comments down below. Whether you liked it, you hated it, thought it was okay. I'd love to hear what you have to say about the album. And if you want more of the Acacia Strain content, click the link down below. Our gear guidance expert, Drew Chido, actually interviewed Tom Smith for his show, so check that out. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. This is Dan Solitro signing out.